Of this little session is just get a little bit of background about yourself, and just to outline, like your political affiliation with Labour, history behind that, and just that's it. Just let people know what kind of person you are, basically. What is Let's start with your background. So tell us about your something about your background. What have you been doing in the past couple of years? Just an overview of that.
Sure. Yeah, so I grew up in Halifax, HX1, went to school Halifax High. I did my A-levels at Brighouse. I did my degree at Leeds Metropolitan University in Business Information Systems. I think it was around 1999. I didn't know what to do, and I think your good friend Saeed Ahmed told me to go into computers. And I did my degree in Information Systems at Leeds Met. I got a 2-1. And then I guess a lot of the jobs were down in Manchester and London in IT. I didn't want to go that far really. And I thought, let's become a teacher, because I thought I had a very good experience. Actually, I did a language degree. One of them years was spent at Parkinson Lane with Gugzi Ahmed, Mr. Ahmed, who's still there, mashallah. And then, I've been teaching over the last 20 years. I've worked in Calderdale, I've worked in Huddersfield, I've worked in Oldham, I've worked in Derby, Islamic school called Al Madina. It was a free school. And around about October 2013, I decided to go work abroad. I got a job in Doha, Qatar, for a year. It was a maternity cover. And then I came back to the UK and I got a job interview in Dubai. So it was an American college in Dubai I worked for, in a place called Mankool in Dubai for 2 years. And I taught the American curriculum there. And then I came back to the UK. I think my mum and dad were not very well at that time, 2016. I did a bit of work, supply work here. And then I got a job in Kazakhstan, teaching in Kazakhstan, working at a college there, working for the Nazarbayev Intellectual School. And again, it was a good experience. Came back to the UK August, July 2017. And then I got a job with the Ministry of Education in Dubai again, in the UAE. And I was working out in the Northern Emirates since then till 2022. So the last 2 years I've been working at that school in Stockport in Romilly. And again, my background's teaching, really, My family's here, my family stayed here in the UK. Once I was, traveling and on my adventures abroad, my family was here in the UK. Education has been key, but also, I'm a very religious person as well. For me, Islam is very important. I feel strongly and passionate about reading up on Islam, but also knowing what is right and what is wrong. And I suppose that element of justice and fairness, especially social justice, is important as well. If something's going on that's wrong, you should go over and see if you can change it. And if you can't change it with your hands, try it with your mouth. And if you can't do that, then obviously, think of it as being a negative thing. So, I think essentially, sometimes you have to ask yourself as to, what kind of contribution you can make to society. And I think for me, it's always been about fairness, education, and making a valid contribution to society, I suppose. I think that's my feelings about this.
Yeah. To this, Alhamdulillah, you're nicely leading yourself into the bigger questions. Those questions are your political participation and your involvement in politics. Tell us about your political affiliation so far.
Affiliation began many years ago when I was at university at Leeds Met. I was head of the Islamic Society, actually, at Leeds Met. From 1999 to 2002. So I guess I was always interested in politics. Like the unions, I was always interested in finding out more about how you could actually benefit your fellow man or fellow woman. And I think it essentially started from there. And actually at school, when I was that young, I was a big fan of Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, of course, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the greatest of all mankind. Peace be upon him. And for me, essentially, the core principles of any society is how you can actually benefit other people. What is the point of you actually doing your day job, going to work, coming home, going to sleep, and not having any effect on people? I think education allows you to do that. So the natural kind of step is to get involved in politics. So last year, actually, I was doing a bit of work, and I've got a good friend in Jenny Lynn from the Labour Party years ago. Jenny said, look, we've got there's a vacancy in Shelf for North Aram. We're looking for a candidate. Would you be interested? And I said, yeah, why not? Let's do it. Let's get involved. And I knew I wasn't going to win. I was a paper candidate, meaning, they just got my name on paper. And if people who support Labour will support me. But I knew in that area in Shelf, North Aram, the Greens were very popular. And I knew they were going to win. So no matter how many houses I went to, knocked on the door, I said to them, vote Labour. Some of them had already made up their mind because they were going to vote Green, which is fair enough. And I didn't win. I got 255 votes, but I only did about 3 or 4 months of campaigning for it. 12 weeks of campaigning. I think it's
This time is
important.
getting on here. Can you tell me about your current post? Where are you standing for elections this time round?
Okay, so I am standing actually for election in Elland. And the situation is actually quite muddy at the moment because I've been suspended pending investigation by the Labour Party about some alleged tweets that I retweeted. So I didn't actually tweet them myself. I didn't write these tweets myself. I've tweeted Normal Finkelstein, who's a very pro-Palestinian Jewish man from the United States. And the allegation is that, I've been anti-Semitic. Well, how can I be anti-Semitic when he himself is Jewish? So I'm tweeting somebody who's Jewish, and he made a comment, and I got done for that.
When was this? When was this?
Now, so the article or the news broke just a couple of days after Eid, I think April. So this news story broke on Friday, the 12th of April. So I got a phone call from one of the Labour regional people. They said, "Look, we've had this news story broken by Guido Fawkes, which is the right-wing Tory kind of conspiracy theory group, and they've said that you've retweeted this Normal Finkelstein and this other guy, and the Labour Party are going to email you and suspend you. Have you got anything to say about this?" And I said, well, firstly, it is just an allegation. I'm going to have a look. And I did discover that I did actually tweet, or I did retweet these comments. So they suspended me, and I've obviously appealed. So the appeal is still going through the process. Now, based on my understanding of what the current situation is that next Thursday, my name will still be on the ballot. If people do want to vote for me, then they can do so. But again, based on my novice knowledge about local politics, what I believe is that if I do win, which is very highly unlikely at the moment, or may not be, that there may be some Palestinian supporters in Ireland who are not able to voice their kind of feelings about this, is that they may think, all right, you know what, actually, we actually like and listen to what KHURAM is saying. We actually feel that he's a sensible guy. And if they do vote for me, what you'll be doing is you won't be voting for the Labour Party, but you'll be voting for me as an independent candidate.
KHURAM, can I just question you over here? So now you're saying if the Palestinians are going to vote for me, that's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it? Because the Labour Party now stands for genocide. What Keir Starmer said, stopping the water, electricity, gas, not allowing that into Palestine. Now, you being part of the Labour Party, what is your views on that? Because the general
absolutely, and I think this is where I had a conflict of interest, where I thought, you know what, I have not been brought up in such a way where I was supporting the genocide of my fellow Palestinians or my fellow Muslim people, and I think this is where you have to basically say, you know what, enough is enough. I don't want to do this. Why am I actually, wearing the ribbon of Labour when actually Keir Starmer gave that very infamous speech now about him saying that, he supports the views of whoever was in Gaza, that the Israeli occupation forces saying that they're going to stop the supply of water, the supply of aid, the supply of food to the Palestinian people who are suffering because of the war. So the issue is, based on this, and I think, when I put my name down for this, I wasn't too sure about this. This is where I feel, I made a mistake, signing up for the Labour Party. So, in hindsight, hindsight is a beautiful thing. And I suppose, I should have thought twice about this, and I should have actually put my name down as a Labour candidate for Elland.
Okay, can I just stop?
I should have put myself down. I should have put myself down as an independent
candidate. Can I stop you here? So basically, you,
Sure.
when did your conscience wake up? Because it's been 7 months now. Yeah, this has been happening, and all of a sudden you've just jumped up. And well, when did your conscience wake up?
Well, I thought initially, okay, you know what I could do actually? I thought I could have an influence in the Labour Party, okay, locally, politically, but also through meetings. So because I was elected or selected by the Ellen Ward to represent Labour, okay, I thought maybe I could have an influence. I could talk to
No,
local
no, no.
people, local kind of
Forget about
people,
the
but
local
also
people. I'm talking about your conscience about Palestine. You got children, haven't you? And you got a family as well.
absolutely.
And then you see so many murders that are happening in Palestine. You've already stood for North Ireland in
Mm,
the past last year, yeah. And then
yeah.
now you're still part of the Labour Party. October 7, 7 months, 30,000, 30,000, more than 30,000 people have been killed in Palestine. When did your conscience
Mm.
wake up? Why did you not realize at the beginning of October that, look, this is a party of genocide?
Well, to be honest, I felt, powerless. I couldn't do much. I just thought, whether it's me or the next person on the street, what can we do? We don't have much power. Even if I resigned, you know, how much of an impact would that have had? You know what I mean? You know, we could very easily say from our homes here in Halifax, we live in a very nice lifestyle here, that we would do this or we would do that. And I myself have been on 3 marches. I went to one in London, I went to one in Leeds, and I went to one recently a couple of weeks ago in Halifax. And one of the things I was really, pleased to see were the young people, there were old people, but there were people from all backgrounds,
You're dodging the
all
question. When did
races,
your
all
conscience
religions.
wake up? When did your conscience wake up regarding Palestine?
My conscience has
Seven
been
months.
woken up many years ago.
Why did
I'm
you not
telling
choose
you,
the party of
I've
genocide?
been part of the Halifax Friends of Palestine. I've been part of the Halifax Friends of Palestine for over 20 years. And you can get this information, it's verified information from Jenny Lynn, okay, the local
Yeah,
councillor in
but
Halifax.
that is
Okay?
irrelevant. I'm
So,
asking you if you're saying, because you just quoted here, if you see a fitna in the street and you put it right and you stop it by the
yes,
hands, yeah, and you stop it by the tongue. Now
mm,
you've got a voice here. You're a teacher. What voice have you raised against Keir
absolutely.
Starmer? No, 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 no.
Absolutely. Very little because it's difficult to say what you can say because you have to be careful
No, no,
about
no.
your job.
What
Okay?
voice did you
So,
raise against Kias? If you're passionate about the issue of Palestine,
yeah,
what voice did you raise
yeah.
against Keir Starmer's statement? As you being a member of the Labour Party, what voice did you raise against Keir Starmer? And it's been 6 months.
Well, as you know, I've been suspended from the Labour Party. So my tweets
No, no,
or my
I'm not talking about your
retweets
suspension.
were were
You just, no, no,
they were
your
basically no,
suspension.
no, no. I only got caught. Listen, I only got caught through the tweets. So I've always been pro-Palestinian. I've always been part of the um, so-called internet resistance movement. I've always been on the internet. I've used my platform on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook to get the message across. There are certain things we can do. Intellectually, educationally, socially. We can talk to people. We can have a chat with the next man. We can have a chat with educated people. We can have a chat with uneducated people as well. So just through them methods of communication, okay. And recently someone said to me, listen, your tweets, your tweet retweets, okay, you should consider them as a badge of honor, okay, because
Brother,
you've been
listen,
caught.
I think you're
You know what I
dodging the
mean?
question
So,
now. I'm not talking about your retweets that you just done on the 10th of October. I'm talking about October 7th till now. What have you done?
uh-huh.
Because no one knows you in the community as speaking for Palestine. What have you done since October?
Yeah, because I've been out of the community. I've been away. I've been working in the
No,
UAE for the
no,
last nine
forget about
years.
10 years. I'm talking about October 7th, which you mentioned you've been here since 2022 till now. You've been working in
Mm.
Stockport, whatever, yeah. What have you been doing since October 7th till now, since you got suspended on the 11th, which a lot of people believe it was a political strategy made by Labour. How have you used your voice to account Keir Starmer and to
Uh-huh.
put Labour Party to question about Palestine and the genocide that they are aiding?
It's very difficult because, I'll be honest with you, we're limited to what we can do, okay?
What do you
But
mean you're limited?
I think the
You
fallout from
remember
this.
you've been seeking political office in last year, and now you're saying you're limited. You've got a
Mm,
voice. People have given you a voice. What voice have you used? Forget about Twitter and stuff like that. What voice have you used to
mm,
account Keir Starmer, account Labour Party in general? Yeah, since
sure.
October 7th till now.
Well, obviously, I've used in my platform as a teacher in schools where I talk to students about, what's going on, but also on the weekend where I talk to people, I go to the cafes, talk to
Sorry.
people about
Let's
what's
talk
going
here
on, how
about
bad it
school.
is.
Which school have you raised your voice? Because
Mm,
this sounds like you're talking about a school
okay.
here, bro. Yeah, school. So what's how come that's
Yeah.
not being amplified in the media? So you're telling a bit fibs. Which school was it that you raised your voice against for Palestine? Tell me which school was it?
No, I'm just saying generally, when you're working with
No.
the
Forget about
unions, okay, for
union. You
example,
just
there was an
mentioned
issue.
school here.
No, I'll give you an
You
example.
just
I'll give you an
mentioned the
example.
school here. Now
I'll
you're
give you an
jumping on the
example, okay?
unions. There's something wrong here. Let's talk about school. Which school did you groom your children against Palestine? Go on.
No, I did not groom anybody against Palestine. I've
For
groomed them for
Palestine. Well,
Palestine
who?
because
Which school was it?
students,
Tell us about the school.
okay,
Which school were you? Were you?
don't need to worry
No,
about
of
what
course
school
it
it
is
was, okay?
because
Because obviously I'm employed in a
this
job.
is very important because you are known as Pinocchio Khurram in the community as being a liar, and now your lying is coming out here now. Now tell me, yeah, what voice have you used, yeah, since October 7th till now, yeah, for
Right.
Palestine? Because you're not known in the community at all. Admit to it, you've said nothing.
Which community?
Yeah, you're not
In
known.
Halifax.
What voice have you used?
Of course I'm not
You're
known
not
because I
known for
keep a low
Palestine.
profile. I
So
don't want
what
to.
voice? Because you're a teacher and you've sought political
Right.
office in North Howram,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're seeking political
Mm-hmm.
office in Elland. What have you used?
Uh-huh.
Because people elect councillors for the voice that they can raise in the chamber and for them. What voice have you used for Palestine since October 7th till now?
I haven't used any of my rationale or any of my knowledge. I
No,
haven't
no.
been
What
able to do
voice
that
for Palestine have you used?
because it's difficult.
So you've done nothing for Palestine.
I've only been to. I've only been to. I tell you, I'll be honest with you. I've only been to one meeting for Halifax Friends of Palestine. That was in Hebden Bridge. No, I went to a meeting. Oh no, actually, I went to a meeting on the 12th of September before October 7th. Actually, in Hebden Bridge, there was a there was a meeting by doctors and nurses from the refugee camp in Shafat, and they came to Hebden Bridge. Actually, I was there. The local MP for Ellen actually was also there. The councillor for Ellen was there as well. Councillor David Veitch, he was there. Councillor Jenny Lane from Parkwood was there.
Anyway,
Parveen
that's
from the Hebden Bridge, there are protests every Saturday. In Todmorden, there are protests every Saturday as well. Okay. And I've been to many of these protests and I've been to many of these vigils. Okay. But, you know, a lot of people say to me, oh, well, they don't make any difference at all. But they do, because the ordinary man on the street, they're gonna
okay.
they're gonna
We
have an
all know
opinion
about
about
this forum.
this.
Let's
Okay.
be conscious of time because 6 minutes left. We might have to redial again.
Mm,
So you mentioned that when you
okay.
see an evil, you stop it by your hand or stop it by your tongue. So Keir
Uh-huh.
Starmer has made
Sure.
blatant statements on genocide against innocent indigenous people of Palestine. Yeah, what have you done
Uh-huh.
to account Keir Starmer?
Nothing, because I'm
Of
limited.
course
I
you
can't
got.
do
You've got a
anything.
voice.
What can I
Yeah,
do?
there's a guy.
Of course I've got a voice, but why is he going to listen to me? An average Asian guy who works in the school, who works in education, who's just recently become
Because
interested in politics. You know
you
what I mean?
mentioned you're passionate about Palestine, you do everything for Palestine, and you've got a voice now, and you're a teacher,
Mm,
and you've not seemed to have
mm.
used your voice, and none of the politicians have, none of the councillors have in Halifax.
You think? I mean, oh yeah, actually, there was a meeting recently, actually, and I was part of it, where we there was a
No,
council
now
meeting
the question is,
where we
now
actually
you
got
have
the
not
council.
raised your voice. Why did you not use your voice? You say you're limited. Why have you not used your voice against? Is it because?
I'm just explaining to you. I am explaining to you now. Basically, there was a meeting recently. Let me get the information on WhatsApp actually. And on the 7th of February, actually, we had a meeting. Okay, with the Calderdale Labour Party. Okay, and I'm the person actually who put forward this motion. Okay, and this is what I said. I said this CLP, so as in Park Ward. Okay, this CLP is concerned about the humanitarian situation in Gaza and appalled that the vote in Parliament on Wednesday, the 15th of November 2023, makes the UK complicit in it. We support the call for an immediate ceasefire and an immediate lifting of all restrictions on humanitarian aid, food, water, and electricity to Gaza. We call on our party's front bench to support this call and to press the government to do likewise. We also urge all MPs to sign the EDM 1685 in support of a ceasefire.
Okay,
So this is on the 23rd of February 2023.
Holy Lynch, he abstained from voting for ceasefire. What have you done to account her?
Yes. Well, I asked her about this at the meeting, okay, and she said, okay.
No one knows about this. Why? Why have you not?
Okay, listen to this. I actually questioned her about this, and I said to her, why didn't you vote for this? What was going on? And I was the chairperson of the Labour Party in Park Ward, okay, because Dr. Fiaz resigned, okay, in protest because of the war. But also, he also said he was really busy because of the school that he set up.
When did he
So I was secretary at the time. Dr. Fiaz resigned around about...
Do you want to dial back in? Because this is going to close now, yeah? Just let's dial back in again quickly. I think I've got to go in half an hour.